So in this episode, I'm going to be reflecting on the Wellness Ninja Manifesto. And just going to check Facebook to see if we're live over there. Hopefully we are. That's the purpose of this, right? And yeah, let's have a look. Yes, we are live. Excellent. Excellent. And so let's get back to my screen and get back on with today's wellness. Saturday's wellness. So, Wellness Saturdays, this is episode 18, and it's going to be about the reflections, my personal reflections on having put together that Wellness Ninja Manifesto. It's a mean ass document, and it's many layers in there. So I'm going to share a little bit about those reflections later on. But first off, let me get this straightened out again. Excuse me, guys. First off, yeah, well, let's move to the next slide. So this is for you if you feel tired after a good night's sleep. And look, let's get the sleep thing straight. Nature provides us with all that we need. And when you're not getting these sort of colors into the eyeballs at dawn and at dusk, this is actually at sunset, you are not getting these reds, these oranges and reds. And that's what activates, turns off and on the melatonin. And that's what activates the whole sleep cycle. Now, it's interesting that actually the melatonin is produced during the day but activated at night. And so these light things, these light signals, are critical to your understanding about things. So if you're getting a lot of blue light stuff from your cell phone, now these LED screens have a lot of high blue light in them. And actually what that does is it completely screws up the way that the eye recognizes light. And it denatures the whole personality of the individual by putting in these artificial lights. So, get your screensavers and that sort of thing. That's a big tip. Well, I don't mean screensavers. I actually mean blue screensavers. So it's like it dims down those high blues. Those high blues that are in the LED screens are designed to do these ill effects upon us. And they are high up, way above the blues that we normally think, and it looks like a bright white light, right? The LED lights that you have on the modern cars have that blue light, which is dangerous to the system. So that's partially why you're feeling tired, if you are, after a good night's sleep. So maybe you have cravings that are sabotaging you from making healthy decisions. And this is the thing. It's really substituting other foods that are not undermining stuff. So, here we have like a recipe for a really interesting dessert, which is made out of walnuts, coconut sugar, tiny bit of coconut sugar, chocolate powder, a little cream there, and we blend it in the blender on the right. And that actually provides a really nutritious, low sugar, with the proteins and the carbs from the nuts and the chocolate beans. So the thing is that these cravings, whether they be this, which is a natural craving, or whether it be like I had for the other night, I had a craving for a hamburger, and mainly I'm vegetarian. I eat fish, but I don't usually eat meat. But yes, that day I had cravings for a hamburger and fries, and I did it. But that was the first hamburger and fries, and it wasn't any old hamburger. It was a genuine grass-fed beef that we get here on Hawaii. So it was all genuine meat. It was really good. And so that was like my monthly sojourn into that. So I've really cut back and really maintaining now more of a partial fasting. And also, completely, like I say, I'm going to repeat this to you, these green smoothies that you can make, we make it with coconut and stuff like that. Those green smoothies are really good for you. And boy, they change your health and your cravings around because they have they're live foods. They have the natural plant fiber in there that we actually take from potatoes, sweet potatoes, greens, or spinach greens, or different greens that we have here growing wild in the garden, basically. And when the pigs aren't here, which is what we are dealing with right now, they're tearing up the whole garden and everything. It's like a nightmare out there. And they're hungry. And actually, on the island, we have a huge number of pigs now. More pigs, we're seeing more pigs on the big island than we've ever seen before, or I've ever seen before. So, you know, it's not about the pills and the supplements and the diet dogmas. There's me stretching into that gnarly pose there. It's really, you know, understanding that, you know, it's the mindset, and it's a whole game changer when you really understand the effects of sunlight, when you really understand the effects of cold showers, and you start to do it, and you change your diet so that you got more natural fibers in there, or natural products that's not processed. And yes, I know that slide showed processed sugar and processed flour, processed chocolate powder. Um, but it's really understanding this. So it's, you know, you've got to move beyond the diet stuff. The diet stuff from that perspective is detrimental, because the normal diet stuff that you get in the paleo books or whatever, right? All these quote diets, don't really deal with the natural light that comes in. And in the Wellness Ninja Manifesto, I deal with all of this. I talk about all of this stuff. And in a moment, I'm going to reflect on how it's been for me working with this. So it's not just about your daily greens, which we showed you, the alkaline, your natural energy boosts. Now in this shot, actually, I have a lightly toasted sandwich with what we're very fortunate here is to have ahi, which is tuna, poke. And we get fresh fish all the time. In fact, we have fresh fish poke in the fridge all the time. And that is our main source. Now, the reason why I'm eating a lot of fish is actually, it's getting kind of technical here, is because the fish has special oils in it, as you know, fish oils, but more importantly, it's not a processed fish oil. And especially with fish, is that you get the natural DHA in the switched position that is really assignable. And it really acts as a semiconductor in there. So it's like all of these electrical things that are happening in the body, 100,000 of them at any one time, they're all triggered, and they all need these natural foods, these natural sources from the sun and the earth in order to function properly. And the more that we've been torn away from it, like with Agenda 21, the more disconnected we become, and the more unhealthy we become, especially in the inflammatory spectrum. So getting to the inflammatories now, it's around mitochondrial health. And so this show is not about that, but we talked about mitochondrial health. But it is time for you and me and all of us to break this cycle. And just as I was preparing this show for January the 13th, I forget which episode it was, this ballistic missile threat came inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. You know, guys, what I'm saying is not a drill here. This is crucial, just even more crucial than these threats, because if this had been genuine, and if there's a lot of this, yeah. But if this had been genuine, it would have taken out a pocket of us, right? But with these health things that are going on with us, when you don't understand your mitochondrial health, when you don't understand electricity and the energy that's needed in the body, when you stick to these old dogmas, right, they ain't working. And people are getting sicker because of it. And so, you know, I'm going to, you know, this ballistic missile threat, this emergency alert is equally to you. And that's why I've included it in this slide. And I will do for the rest of all of these shows, because it's a prime example of we have limited time, no matter how we look at it. We have limited time on this planet. And it's time to break those old cycles and to get on with repairing the damage that's been created here. So Simon Lee wrote gave me a really wonderful video testimonial, and if you haven't seen it, go to my site, you'll see it there, and it was in a previous episode. And This is why we can take these gnarly situations that are happening in people's bodies and turn it around, because I really know how to do this, and that's been my job for like 30 years, is really developing these systems. So thank you, Simon, for sharing them with us. So my intention for you is to look outside of the box, your comfort zone, and discover how your life could really become if you had me as a coach, and achieve peak performance for life, and changing those old habits and getting real. So this show isn't about medical advice and disclaimers like that, you know, I'm not a doctor, blah, 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 thank God for you, and for me too. But it's not a substitute for medical advice and all of that legal blah, blah, blah stuff. And so let's get on with the next one, and see where this takes us to. So you can recreate your life by improving your vitality, your strength, and your health. And let's face it, I'm just going to put this logo in here. I forgot to do that. There we go. And now I've got to bring it forward. There we go. And so you can recreate your life by improving your vitality, strength, and health. And that's what I've been sharing in these Wellness Ninja, well, Wellness Saturdays, and with my Ninja tricks. Now, a lot of marketers use Ninja as being like for this thing, for, you know, whatever it is. What I'm sharing you health-wise is truly Ninja. These things take a lot of habit-breaking time and goal-setting visions in order to break those old patterns. And so that's what I'm here for, to support you in that as a coach, of course. And the Wellness Ninja Manifesto, as I'll show you in this little piece that I shot, and I'm going to show you this video that I shot down on the beach the other day. And that is how things work. We've got to really shift the way we're looking at things, you know, that haven't been working, and there's a lot of damage being done because you don't know how to handle it. So I'm going to switch over to the other screen here, and hopefully the video starts right away. And if not, it's a short little 10-minute video, but it's really deep and personal and laid back, and not salesy at all. So here we go. Let's see if it works. Okay, it should be there. And here we go. I hope the volume is right too. Yeah, so early this morning I was driving over Saddle Road here on the Big Island, and I'm just sitting down collecting my thoughts after shooting a short little videos down on the beach. And it's been a long journey, you know. It's amazing what over a lifetime one can accomplish, and although it doesn't seem like it day by day or even year by year, but decade by decade, more shit gets done. And putting it all together as I did in the Wellness Ninja Manifesto really helped me condense out what I thought would be interesting pieces, you know, from Africa, from all over, from working with sacred geometry to shamanic experiences, and a whole bunch of other ones with just deep, profound healing effects, not only on those realms, but also on physical realms too, to a point where we now, I have a coach, a gold medalist coach, Chris Hoffman, who's getting his athletes back on track two times faster, twice as fast. And you know, when you understand energy like I do, from a profound spiritual, philosophical aspects, you really become tuned into how you can use those attributes and condense their effects, like with lenses, and condense their effects. And some of those tips I put into the Wellness Ninja Manifesto. But most important, where just you know, there's some uncommon beliefs around energy, and the more you understand about that, the better it is. The simpler it gets. It's like so deep and profound and disturbing that our society has been set up in every which way to deceive us. And electrical medicines are no
different. You know, the Frankensteization of Hollywood, you know, Frankenstein movies, and you know, all of that scare bullshit. But anyway, there are aspects, as we know from all sort of out-of-body experiences to spontaneous healing experiences to people getting well, that, you know, that is available to us. However, as you'll discover in the manifesto, you know, our environment, where we live, and etc., the condensed ways that UN 21 has put us into, is that you know, it's more and more difficult to get away from the what are called non-native EMFs, which are the non-natural electromagnetic frequencies that are in the planet all around us. And you know, in the car it has very high readings, for instance. And so, you know, all of this is uncommon. It's not well known. So I kind of like explain it from a practical place of how you can apply this and what it really ultimately means to apply it, and which I believe is changing the face of medicine. And so that's a deep, profound statement, and I kid you not. It's taken me a long time to sort of begin to own it, and you know, so that's bringing in, you know, a new energy for me, and that's what I want to share with you with the Wellness Ninja Manifesto Manual. Oh, well, it is a manual too. There's actually different layers in there of exercises that you can do. Yeah, they're kind of fun because it's introductory to sort of the mind game stuff, and some exercises around that. And then refining that into your health spectrum, right? So whatever that might be for you. So that could be, you know, the pain stuff or the low energy stuff, etc. And how in my coaching you can benefit from that too. So I have what I call like loaner programs. One is the bronze, which is for the handheld units. It's based on the PCM6. There's another one that's for the vertebra, which is the 48 electrode device that goes all the way up and down your back. It's really cool and does stuff on you that would require a therapist to do on your back. So it's automated. And that's the silver, and that's also basically a loaner, but we can also upgrade to having my input on that. And then on the gold, we have, you know, advanced ninja, and literally that's where the ninja training and coaching comes from. Some of these techniques are completely outside the box in terms of what's taught anywhere else on the planet. They came through, you know, decades of working with these energies and understanding how to really focus them, and on all levels of the body-mind continuum, spectrum. And so it's been really a joy to be able to get it all down in the manifesto. I'm looking at it staring at me over there. And so it's been a joy to be able to do that. And let me grab it, let me just put it on the screen here next to me, you know, to put this together and bring this knowledge to you. And my 5 uncommon energy secrets. And they're based on, you know, some of them are uncommon knowledge that can do, and I've hinted at a couple of them. But the more important stuff is that, you know, it's the application and the regular applications. Once you've got it, it's the regular application of these ways of monitoring and forward pacing you into your vision. So it's, you know, when you start to use, you know, electricity that way in terms of, like, you know, brightening up the aura, you know, changing your moods, and then also dealing with all of the more severe stuff, which were part of the Russian clinical studies. 18,255 people, 88.25% cure rates, no, 82.5% cure rates, excuse me, and across major disease groups. Now, basically, we've got to a point now that on the planet with, as I've been hinting about, you know, not people putting on sunscreen instead of putting on, I have a tube here that I picked up, you know, deadly to the body, right? That's exactly what you need. You need sunlight. The body needs sunlight, guys. Uh, and so this whole drama that the corporations have us in really undermines and brainwashes us and sets us into an indoctrination as to what we believe now is true, and of course it's gotten further and further and further away from the truth, right? And so that's what I examine in the manifesto, actually. It's how we really ultimately need to change. And with what's basically amasses to, battery-powered microcurrent devices, for instance, the energy requirements or the cost per situation or condition is really, really minimal. So that's why it hasn't gone huge. That's why it's still locked down, basically. That's why it's taken me until now to really get the balls to put this all together. And there's a lot of personal stuff in the manifesto, so you can get to know me, deeper from, my journey, my 67 this year, my 67-year journey, and all the stuff that I went through that made me, the guy I am and the expert that I am in these fields. And so get on board. Let's get you in there, and I'm going to put you into a messenger little sequence, and you can stop at any time. And the messenger sequence will have links to tiny little short little videos, and they're clips from my Saturday Wellness live streams. And so we just did little clips, and so I'll send you some more clips about the manifesto and a little bit more about my coaching. But more specifically, maybe you can tell me, and I can really direct you to the information that you would like to receive. And that would be basically I've got it basically in three buckets, as it were. One is low energy, which we all have, and another one is nutrition, or maybe it's wellness nutrition. It's not nutrition from the standard way of looking at it. And I'll delve right into that right in there, and little clips from what I've been talking about in this Wellness Saturdays shows for quite a while. And so got lots of follow-up stuff with you, and great to have you on board, and talk with you soon. I'll be on the Saturday Wellness. I was doing them once a week, and then I kind of got burnt out for it. I might take a little break, but whether I'm going or not, you'll be able to find out. I'll let you know that too. So aloha from Hawaii. Mahalo for watching.
Yeah, that was really interesting to just sit down and put that piece together. Let me get myself back up on the screen here. And it's been an interesting journey, because foundationally what I have to teach you, or what I have to share with you through these Saturday Wellness Saturdays, is fundamental ways that you can change your life around health-wise. And if you follow some of this stuff, you'll get these tremendous results like others have with me. And I'm not huge in terms of training bunches of people at the same time. I'm very selective in who I work with. And so it's it's really about I'm looking at the song I'm going to do, which is When You're Smiling, right? It's really about the let's change that one up. There we go. It's really about that whole inner joy, and bringing that inner peace to us, so that in that peacefulness, we're more in tune with nature. We're more in tune with just being at ease. And that's where the work with the sacred geometry stuff started so many years ago. And that was to get that peace into the body and understand how music can work with people. And now with the electrical medicines that I work with predominantly, it's even more outstanding. So, it's quite amazing. So whilst I'm singing this song, I'm going to switch to another video here, and hopefully it comes up, and it's not too loud. Oh my God, this is tough stuff for me. And let's see how I can do this. I think it is that one. So we turn off that. So this is When You're Smiling by Michael Bubble, and I guess that's how you pronounce the name, Michael. B on it. And so you'll recognize the song. Sing along with When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing, be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing, be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. The whole world smiles, the whole world smiles, the whole world smiles with you. Yeah, that happy vibe in the heart, that happy vibe in the body is nothing to beat it. And, whatever you can do to get that stuff, whatever you can do to grab my manifesto. And There's layers and layers in here that you can study. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different layers that you can study in here. And there's exercises that you can do to optimize your health. So if you want, if that's with you, go grab it anyway and really study. A lot of information in that for you to begin with. Plus, with the wellness shows, I've got a lot of them. Turn off the water and see if I can get this one going. Here we go. In those previous episodes that I've been composing for you guys, we're now on episode 18, right? And I put 16 in that. It should have been 18. Those reflections are a sort of sum total of that inner stuff that I've been processing through in order to just have the balls to stand out and go public with this on a regular basis. And so I just really want to, help you understand what you need to do. And these different episodes, focus on, light. They focus on mitochondria. They focus on, tips for children. They focus on the history of the skener microcurrent or the microcurrent biofeedback devices from Russia. And lots of different tips in them. So go study it, go use it. If you've got any questions, and talking questions, I'm just going to check on Facebook here. If you've got any questions, please hit me up. And looking forward to connecting with you real soon. And I was a little slow on getting this whole thing together, this show to you, but thank you for watching the replay, and it's great to go live with you anyway, and keep myself in practice that way. So aloha and blessings from Hawaii. The next show is going to be on, it's 2 weeks from now, and so the next show will be April the 7th. So talk with you then. Aloha.